Yes, your voice broke. I did not get the question.
Just a moment.
How do you used to share from your previous colleague? So what you do is yeah, you just click and then you keep moving.
Hello. Sorry for that again. I was saying traditional media is any type of content that is distributed through established channels. These channels have been around for many years and are typically well known and trusted by consumers. Some examples of traditional media channels include the film, television, radio, and print publishing. Yeah, unfortunately, in South Sudan, we have very few television stations. If not only SSBC, at least we have enough radios, and then the print publishing houses. So those are the main traditional media houses. Any media that originated prior to the internet, including newspapers, radios, and broadcast televisions. These ones are traditional media. Now, digital media, just as the word digital is, it refers to any type of content that is stored and transmitted using digital technology. This can include text, images, audio, video, and interactive media. Interactive media, these are ways in which people share information. Any computer delivered electronic system that allows the user to control, combine, and manipulate direct types of media such as text, sounds, video, computer graphics, and animation. This is interactive media. Some examples of digital media platforms include the websites. We all know websites, the social media. Examples of these are Facebook, WhatsApp, of which all of us at least have an account with most of them. Then blogs, podcasts, streaming services, ebooks, and mobile apps. Digital media has become increasingly prevalent in today's society, with many people consuming news, entertainment, and information through digital channels rather than traditional media sources like print media, print publication, television, and radios. This statement explains that currently people are migrating from the traditional media, they are coming to digital media. Even radio stations, TV stations, and publishing houses, they have Facebook accounts, others have apps. So people no longer buy newspaper, but they listen, they read the news on their phones and on their laptops and any other gadgets, any other electronic gadgets. So this is generally that showing that people are migrating from the traditional media to digital media using all these means. So a question that we ask ourselves, and I'll need answers from you or some of you. So the question is, why do you think digital media is gaining momentum over the traditional media? Why are we running away from newspaper, TV stations, and the others traditional means of media consumption to digital? Yes, I'll be getting your ideas from here. Anybody?
Yes, please.
Yes. Why do you think we are migrating from traditional to to digital media?
Well, thank you. I think, portability, because digital is so, I mean, digital news are very accessible, like on one is phone or a laptop, but mostly I would like to talk about the phone. The phone is it's likely to be very small, but you can get the information from there. It's one of the things. And easy access. You may not need to go to the vendor and get the news from there and buy them. And it also saves time for you to just get into your Facebook, and you get into the page or the account of the news entity that you need to get the news from them. And then it saves time for you and very portable. You can just get the information from your phone.
Okay, yeah, very ideas there. It's accessible as long as you have your phone any other place, because the newspaper may have specific location where you need to get them from, but if you have your phone, even in your office or in your bedroom, anywhere, I guess, as long as you have internet, you have access. And this one as well saves time. So, and it is even cheaper, because when you do this, you don't need to put transport. So as long as you have data, you can access other things, and then you access this one too. Any other?
Yes, this is Angelina.
Yes.
Yeah, in addition to that it is cheap, it is also inclusive, because
Yes.
if we look at the radios, they can actually broadcast using the local languages, and the coverage also is wide compared to the magazines or the newspapers and all this. So it is also inclusive in terms of diversity. For those that are non-educated and those that are also educated, they can benefit from this digital media.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. It's inclusive. Everyone is has the accessibility regardless of any other challenges or anything else. So that's another advantage. Any other person? Okay. Generally, we say it's now digital migration. Whether we like it or not, things are moving away from the traditional way of doing everything. So media is also not left behind. People want to go with technology, which is cheaper, accessible, saves time, portable, and inclusive, among other reasons. So let's look at independent media. Yeah, when we talk of independent media, we refer to media such as television, newspaper, or internet-based publications. Now we bring all of them together, whether it's traditional or it's digital, but that is free of influence by government or corporate interests. Independent media is important because it plays an important role in improving government accountability and reducing corruption. Here we mean that when you're independent, you you have your own sources of income, and then if it comes to broadcasting, nobody comes and tell you that produce this and don't produce this, because news is news as long as it's correct. So you should not be producing the news to make somebody happy. If the news doesn't make somebody happy, it shouldn't be produced. No. But if you are not independent, if someone gives you funding, if someone controls you, he will tell you do this and don't do this. So one importance of having an independent media where you're free to publish the news as it comes is that it checks on the government and it reduces corruption. It also means that no one should control and influence coverage of the news. No one should tell the media what should be included and not included in the story. It means that the media should not be under anyone's pressure. Yeah. So in some other instances where we find a media house produces news, then someone comes and say, put this one down. Then the news has already gone out, and then because some people don't want to hear that news, they come back and tell you, please put this one down. So as an independent media, you're supposed to have that independence, and you don't have to work on any other person's pressure. They typically funded and operated by individuals or organizations with the aim of providing alternative viewpoints and perspective on news and current events. Independent media can take any form. However, most times they prioritize investigative journalism and reporting on stories that may be overlooked or underreported by traditional mainstream media outlets. Yeah, an example is the Century report. This one, it did its investigation independently, then everyone just came out and woke up one day and saw the report. So nobody had to influence them, and they got what the normal journalist or any other person, any other layman could not easily get the information. So access to credible, accurate, and reliable information. Access to reliable and accurate information means having the ability to obtain information that is trustworthy and based on facts supported by evidence. So this independent media, yes, but then do the population have access to it? If it is shared through Facebook or through WhatsApp or even the print, do you have access to Facebook? For example, currently in Uganda, Facebook is blocked up to today. People use VPNs to access it. So whether it's independent or it's not independent, there's still other challenges of accessibility. So this type of information can be obtained from reputable sources, such as scientific studies, peer-reviewed journals, government agencies, and other recognized authorities in a given field. Having access to credible, reliable, and accurate information is crucial for making informed decisions, whether they're related to personal health and well-being, financial investments, or public policy. Access to such information also helps to promote transparency, accountability, and trust among individuals and organizations. So, for example, currently we are in the process, the country is in the process of the budget review and all those processes. But it is very few people who have access to the real budget or what is happening, all those processes, how they are moving from one stage to another. So at the end of the day, the layman or the common man will not know how the budget is, how it was first drafted, how they reached, how those figures, how everything was run, and even how it was used. So if you don't know all this, there's no way you will come and question your leaders. How did you use this? And why did you do this? Because you don't know in the first place what was supposed to be done or as a citizen what was allocated to you in the budget. Yeah, so the, uh, credible and accurate and reliable information has importance in independent media has importance in promoting access to credible, accurate, and reliable information. And one of the importance is providing diverse perspectives. Yes, if there is independent media, of course, you'll have access to different houses, and each house may have a different perspective. Whatever they publish may differ from the other one. So the population has access to various perspectives and decide which one is correct and which one is not correct. This helps to promote a balanced and informed public debate, which is essential for democracy. Yeah, so if every fact is brought out, you're free to decide which one is right, which one is not. So if there's a debate, in case there's a debate, you'll have a side with the facts defending you, or with the facts you defending the side you've chosen. And this is good for democracy. When times come for election, you will know who to vote and why to vote, or which side to go with and why, just because you have the facts. Another importance is holding government accountable. Yes, independent media serves as a watchdog by monitoring the government's actions and policies and reporting on issues that citizens. This helps to hold the government accountable and hence promotes transparency. In this case, where the journalists are free to write about all the rights and the wrongs ongoing in a given country or society, even the government itself will feel like, yeah, if I don't do right, the public will know. So what I should do is I should do the right thing for everyone in the country. And then the citizens can have access to information that they can pin their leaders down and say, this is what is supposed to be done, but see, this is what you're doing. So they will have no voice apart from changing from the wrong things they're doing. And this one promotes accountability and transparency. Yes, another importance is promoting awareness of human rights. Independent media also reports on violations of human rights. This helps to raise awareness of these issues and promoting accountability for those responsible. We have activists in the country who fight for the rights of the population, but then we also need the media to publish all this. If the activists talk and no one writes about them, no one takes this information to the population, then it doesn't make sense. So we need independent media to give the activist voice and platform where their information will reach them. It also improves access to information. Independent media provides citizens with access to information that they might not otherwise have. This includes information about policies, social issues, and events happening in the country. Yeah, this is an update. We all know we're journalists, and then if something happens in a different area, when a journalist is there, he will immediately update, and the whole country will know, especially right now that we have Facebook or the social media, which is accessible and very cheap to most of us. It's, especially people who have access to internet and gadgets. So information spreads very fast, which is very important. Then this also helps in fostering economic development. Independent media can help to foster economic development by reporting on business, investment opportunities, and other economic activities. This can help to attract local and foreign investments, creating jobs and boosting the economy. Yes, we see a lot of adverts on the social media and even our news. We have papers like Hot in Juba, much as mainly it does with the news. Sometimes they come with jobs, and then they put pictures of South Sudan in different from different locations. So this one goes out there, and people be like, "Wow, this is South Sudan. This is our South Sudan." So they'll be attracted to come and invest in the country. And I know most of us, or most of you, each one has a story where he has gotten an opportunity, or at least know someone who has gotten an opportunity through online, either through the newspaper or through these online news sites like the Facebook, even WhatsApp. And a direct example is this. This training was mainly advertised through the social media, which is an advantage to all of us. Yes, in promoting sustainable and independent media, we need to have trust, and we need to build this trust. So building trust here refers to the process of establishing or organizations. It involves cultivating a sense of reliability, dependability, and confidence in one another's intentions, actions, and abilities. Trust is a fundamental element in building strong relationships and fostering effective teamwork. Yeah, so we have pillars of trust. So knowing that building trust, it involves reliability, dependability, and confidence in one another's intentions, actions, and, abilities. So I cannot come just from anywhere and start say, look at your face and be like, this man is very trusted. I should deal with it. I should start dealing with him. It's not a one-day thing. It has to be, takes process, and then it is fundamental. So if it's not there, it's very hard to build strong relationships, and then effective teamwork may be very hard. So what are some of the pillars of trust? Can you mention for us some of these pillars? There are very many, so you can mention either one or two or any. How do you identify the pillars of trust?
Yes, I think this is Oreo again. I think transparency can be one of the pillars of trust. If you're
Okay, yes,
transparent,
transparency. Yeah. Well, okay, yeah. Transparency is one of the pillars of trust. So we shall begin with the accuracy. So as journalists, for you to win the trust of the population, you have to be, or as a journalist or as a publishing house, you have to have accuracy. It's your job to get the news fast, but it is more important to get it right. As you report a story, be clear about what you know, how you know it, and what you don't know. Yes, it makes for better journalism if everyone in the news gathering processes challenges their own reporting, asking, is there anything we haven't thought of, or what do I still need to find out? Yeah, this one goes back to fact checking. Before you publish your news, you have to make sure all the sources that you've contacted have given you the correct information and you quote them correctly. So you have to build that. Every other time that you report, you have to give out accurate news. During when you do that, along the time, along the road, people will be like, yes, this guy or this house is accurate. There are some minor mistakes that can be understandable, but as you build your legacy of accuracy, people will start to trust you. And this one is not done in one day or in 1 month. It takes time and consistency. Yeah. Secondly, is integrity. You should maintain the highest ethical standards to provide unbiased and reliable news. Never fake, fabricate, or plagiarize a story or any elements of it. Don't make quotes or steal quotes from another person. If you want to use a quote from them from elsewhere, make it clear where you got it from. Yes, said in an interview with the Mauritanian Times last month. This is an example. Like you have to quote, so you don't own it if it's not like yours. Don't accept payments or gifts from people or institutions you may have to report on. Yeah, this one goes back to independence. So if you accept gifts or payments, that person will have compromised with your independence, and the work you will do will be compromised. Your integrity will be lost. The same people who will pay you will be the one who say this one is cheap. We can give him money and he will change the story. So you need to build your integrity and stand on your point. If it's a yes, it's yes. You should be able to maintain the highest ethical standards to provide unbiased and reliable news. Another pillar is fairness. Take no side and tell all sides. Yes, when there is a story that is running and you only know one side of the story, you don't need to publish until you find out the other story. Most times, people, after getting the one story, they will be like, they write that uh, um, efforts to reach the other party were futile, but this one leaves a lot to be questioned. You really need to dig deep and find out what the other side also says. This one gives fairness to both parties, and it gives credibility to you as a journalist. Inappropriate references to gender, ethnicity, religion, culture, appearances, age, and sexual orientation should be avoided. You should ask yourself, are they really relevant to the story? Yes, these are some of the things that you should avoid if you know they're going to make your story unfair. It's not all about getting to the two sides, but there are other things that you should look at. Angelina talked of inclusiveness. So this is what we refer to here. We come from different ethnic backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, gender, different cultures, and we even appear differently, and our ages differ. So there's also sexual orientation. So if you know it's going to affect one person or the other, you should avoid them and publish your story before publishing your story. Then another pillar here is balance. Journalists should strive to be scrupulously fair and balanced. Allegations should not be portrayed as facts. Charges should not be conveyed as sign of guilt. Always give the object of your reporting a right of reply. In a breaking news situation, it might not be possible to get hold of all sides immediately. If you can't get a direct response from them, make that clear in your story and report any previous comments they or their representatives have made. Yeah, here this one also takes us back to the fairness pillar. It says you should balance. In the courts of law, they say until proved guilty, it's just an allegation. So you should not conclude if it's not yet proved that it's the real thing. So if you have not gotten both the stories and then you want to break the news, you should be able to tell us, uh, you should be clear and tell us that we got information from one side. And then as news come in, of course, facts will come, news will come in and it will come with all the facts. Then you update the population. That one will make sense because someone will know, yes, they got, this one is happening, but then it's not yet so clear. But you should not conclude and say this one happened when you have not yet gathered all your facts, right? Yeah, transparency, as Gabriel had said, be open about your sources and correct mistakes quickly and transparently. Be clear if photos or videos came from someone else. For example, video provided by the environmental group Green Space shows. So when you're using a different, or when using someone's video or image, you should be able to quote them and say this video came from this source. Nobody likes to admit to having a mistake, but it is vital to be clear with your audience when you have got something wrong. Every publisher, whether an individual blogger or a big institution, should have a clear correction policy to let your audience know what you got wrong and what the right fact or story is. Don't hide corrections. Yes, for example, 211 check has that at every fact check that we publish. So when you go to the bottom of every fact check, you'll find a form there, a correction form, where the public is given the option to correct if what we have published was not correct. And then you should be able to give us the correct information, not just correcting, not just discrediting without giving the correct part of the story. So every person should not fear to be corrected. We all make mistakes, but then when they happen, we should take them with a clear heart. So you have to avail those avenues. You have to give your audience the avenues to correct you, and you should take those corrections in good faith. When you do this, even the public will start to appreciate that, yes, they made a mistake, but it's normal. Now, this is a credible institution, or we can deal with them. We can trust their sources of news. Another pillar here is diversity. Diversity serves to broaden and enrich the reporting in the newsroom, helping to overcome conscious and unconscious biasness in discussions about coverage. This having people from different backgrounds helps open our eyes to angles on stories, realities, and communities that we might have missed. In a newsroom filled with people from many different backgrounds, journalists should remain first and foremost, seeking facts and truth, parking nationality and personal politics at the door. Yeah, in a newsroom filled with the people from different backgrounds, here journalists should remain first and foremost seeking facts and truth, leaving any other thing behind the door. So when you're inside, what you concentrate on is facts and truth to the public. Here, you diversify your newsroom, not only ethnicity or gender or education, but all areas. You have to make sure you have we females, we have males, we have people from different corners of the country, if it's what it takes to be. In this way, you'll get news from different areas, and then there will be facts. It will not be, there will be no biasness. So another pillar is independence. Just as it's the main point of this training, independence is fundamental to the trust that allows you to report impartially from all sides of the story, from conflicts to financial markets. Anything that is or looks like a conflict of interest should be avoided. It might lead people to suspect that your coverage has ulterior motives. Examples of this would be publicly supporting a particular cause that you then report on. For example, reporting on a candidate for political office who is a close friend of yours. Yeah, this one will mean people will be like, this one is promoting his candidate. Whether that person gives you money or he doesn't give you money, people will still take it differently. And then accepting gifts or money from one source. This one already will have a side. However much you try to be independent or you try to want to be independent, still you'll have been jeopardized. So as much as you practice your work, you have to make sure independence is a fundamental in everything that you do. Another sector here is biasness. The key to independent journalism is to be free of bias. So bias, this one is having a preconceived perception about something. Whether you're going to report about politics or you're going to report about the economics of our country or anything. But then if you already have a perception, then it will not give you, you will not be able to give the correct version. So quality news journalism should take no side and tell all sides. Neutrality means reflecting all sides of an issue or conflict without any agenda other than finding out what has happened and what might happen next. Yeah, independent journalists should aim for impartial, accurate, fair reporting across all outputs. This one will include text, visuals, audio, and social media. So every time you're reporting in any of these, you have to make sure everything is free of bias and is fair, is accurate and impartial. In any disputes, political, military, social, or corporate, there are always at least two sides to consider. Journalists risk being seen as biased if they fail to give enough space to the different parties, either in a single story or in the totality of their coverage. So, like, for example, currently in Juba, there's this thing of the Artists Union, which happened yesterday but one. So, up to now, most of the population is still confused which one is right, which one is not right, which one is doing what and which one is doing what. So there are two conflicting sides. So once you have such a situation, you have to make sure you get the stories from both sides. Then as a journalist, you decide or you judge or you give exactly what you got, and then the population judges for themselves. But you don't choose only one side and I say it's like this side is the right one. I will only report about them. I will not report about the other one. That's already being biased and being unfair to the other side and to the population. You'll have denied them information from the other side. An even fuller picture can be gleaned if time and space permitting, you reflect the viewpoints of other people affected by the story, etc. Now here, still we can use that. We still are going to use that same example story on that. After interviewing the two sides or after getting the stories of the two sides, you also go further and find from the public, because these unions or these people have been interacting with the public in a different ways. So you can come to the public and ask whether there are other people who have had or who have previously interacted with them and what was their experiences. And maybe those ones who are there at that function or at the location to tell you what exactly happened on that particular day. This one will give more weight and options, and people will know, people will judge for themselves and be like, yeah, I think this one was right. This one was the right side, and this one is wrong. This one has to change. Yeah, the more points of view you listen to and report on, the less open to accusations of bias your reporting will be. Yes, so the more sources you have, this one is just very clear. The more sources you have, the less open to accusations of bias your reporting will be, and then people will take in your content without any criticism or with less criticism, because much as you may be so correct sometimes, it may be very hard to have to be without any criticism. So, but at least when you're unbiased, you will have fewer criticisms if they are there. So here is actions matter. There are specific things you can do and do not do to ensure that you maintain a reputation for independence and trustworthiness. So as a journalist here, what are some of the things that you can do that you can maintain your reputation in the public, that people will trust you, that your sources and your news is always independent and then is consumed without any question? One is personal investments. You should not be involved in stories about entities in which you or an immediate family member like has an interest. So when you go to, or when you're reporting on something, you don't have to report because you have someone there who you will be promoting like indirectly. Definitely here you will not report independently. So you have to avoid such. Sometimes if it's the only option to do, you have to apply like serious independent mind and you write an article or you write your news very independently without showing the interest of anybody or without siding with any person. Then conflicts of interest. For instance, advising a politician who is a classmate of yours how to duck difficult questions from the news medias. Even if it is unpaid, it gives you the inside track and undermines everyone else in your profession. Yeah, this one is that brought a classmate as an example. So you're advising him. He's a politician. He wants to compete, or he's competing for a position, and you're a journalist, and you're advising him. So even if it's unpaid, it gives you the inside track and undermines everyone else in your profession. It does not only affects you, but even the other journalists around. They start to question. All journalists behave like the same way, or you've done this with this politician, another journalist somewhere is doing with another one. So such conflicts should be avoided. There are many. This is just an example. Then gifts. Journalists must not accept any payment, free gifts, free services, or benefit offered by a news source or contact. Yeah, for example, you're doing writing an article, you're doing an investigation, and then the person you're investigating, first of all, gives you a gift or pays you some money or offers you a service. Obviously, it will be, the results will be jeopardized. And if not, the population will be like, it's this organization, or it is this politician who is facilitating your transport, your everything. How do we expect you to produce independent news? So you'll be questionable at the end of the day. Then travel and accommodation. For example, if there is a function somewhere that you're going to cover, try to pay your own way. In exceptional circumstances such as war zones, it may be impossible to get to the news without accepting free travel or accommodation. It is good to practice reimbursement. You reimburse the provider or make an equivalent donation to a charity. This one will clear your image from the public. Mainly, this one will, you may not be compromised as such, but then your image in the public will be like, this one is moving with them. And then what do we expect? For example, if it's a war zone, you're going to report on the front line, and then one side is, or you're with one side. So the other side will not take you lightly. And another example could be elections. If candidate A is going to campaign in location B, and then you are going with him, he's the one paying your transport, your accommodation, he's feeding you when you're in the field, everything. So candidate B will not take your news, or supporters of candidate B will not take your news serious, or they will easily judge you because you're camping with the candidate A. Another one is bribes. Under no circumstances should you take or offer payment for a news story. Then this is, you should not be paid by somebody or by the public, somebody from the public, in order to make a story. Your news house is already paying you, and it's paying you for this. So when you go out there, you go independently and you don't accept anything before making a story come out. So we are going to strategies for building sustainable media entities. So up to here, is there any question or anything that you feel was left out? And use these 2 or so minutes to give anything that you feel should be given, or any question. Okay, silence means everything is fine. So strategies for building sustainable media entities. We already have We already know how to maintain independent medias. So how do we sustain them? Building a sustainable media entity requires a combination of strategic planning, effective execution, and continuous adaptation to changing market conditions. Strategic planning, you have to plan like, you say failing to plan is planning to fail. So you have to plan strategically. You need to know what is consumable, what is selling, which news is selling at a particular time. Then effectively you execute that plan. So the news may be there, you might have planned, but then if you fail to execute that plan still, you will not sustain your media or your media house. And then doing this two alone is not enough. It has to be continuous adaptation to changing markets, because the market is not going to remain the same. There are things that determine news. For example, outbreaks. When COVID came, everything changed. A lot of things changed. So even the news consumed changed. The way it was consumed also changed. So you have to be flexible. Even if you have your strategic plan, you have to make sure you adapt very easily to the new market changes or market conditions. So what are some of the strategies for building this, or for building a sustainable media entity? How do you implement this? You diversify revenue streams. A sustainable media entity should not rely solely on advertising. It is essential to diversify revenue streams, such as subscriptions, events, merchandise, and sponsored content. Yeah, so right now, some news outlets, especially the online ones, those ones with the pages, they monetize their pages. So when you monetize your page, you earn through that page. That's another way of earning. Then you can also do adverts. When you grow your audience, you have enough audience that consume your news. People will have trust in you that when they advertise with you, their product will reach to a lot of people. So they will always come to you, and you get money through advertisement. Then there's also subscriptions. Here you encourage people to subscribe to your news. So others which are well off, you can subscribe for free, but then others you make subscribe for a fee. So this fee, however small it might be, at the end of the day, it adds to the revenue that is coming in case you fail to get an advertising deal, or you have not gotten from the monetized section or even events, then this subscription will keep you running. The same with merchandise and sponsored content. Then focus on the niche audience. Here, you develop your audience. You give your audience what they want, and this one comes from consistency. So the more you give the same news, there'll be a particular audience that will subscribe always to you, that will come say, when we want this news, we get it from here. So when you build that already, you don't need to again bring in other things abruptly. You have to focus on that and make sure you don't disappoint your audience. This approach allows you to create content tailored to your audience interests and needs, increasing the likelihood of them becoming long-term subscribers. So if you focus on this and you build enough audience and they subscribe to your paper or to your site, this one is already a ready market for you, and it will sustain you throughout the time as long as you don't disappoint them. Then another one is embrace digital transformation. The media industry has undergone significant changes to digital transformation. So to stay relevant, it is crucial to efficient and effective content creation, distribution, and monetization. Yes, this is just what we have explained up there. So you have to embrace digital changes. If you've been a print media, you make sure you create Facebook page. You are also there in WhatsApp. You have WhatsApp group for your audience, on Twitter, even TikTok, and other online apps. Some of these. Another one is YouTube. YouTube is a good one for monetization, especially if you have enough following. YouTube will pay you for that. So this helps you to stay relevant, and it is crucial because it reaches different audience at the same time. So much as you'll have less sales in the print, your papers may not have enough sales, but the online outlets will be bringing in more money, and your news, because your news will reach a lot of people from different parts of the world. Here now we are not talking of different parts of the country, but different parts of the world at the same time. So build your trust with your audience. Trust is an essential factor in building a sustainable media entity. You must prioritize transparency, accuracy, and objectivity in your reporting, as well as actively engaging your audience through social media and other channels. So when you embrace digital transformation, you should make sure you give correct information consistently, and then you should have your sources always clear. That is transparency. And then in case people want to reach out to you, you should always be available to clear any doubt coming out from any of your audiences. With this, people will trust you. Yeah, there's this other paper which it's not really a paper but an online platform. It had published 2 misinformations on different dates, and then we fact-checked them. So when we fact-checked them and reached out to them, they accepted it in good faith, and they removed this misinformation and apologized to the public. So this one, the comments alone in the apology showed that public is very ready to accept how people react to mistakes. So this one cleared the image of this paper, in that up to today that when they publish anything, people don't have any question. They just take it, and you should always build that trust from the beginning and keep it consistent. Then another way to build sustainable media entities is to foster collaborations. Collaborating with other media entity influencers and brands can help expand your reach, and attract new audiences, new audience segments. These partnerships can also lead to new revenue opportunities and cross promotions. Yes, if you have partnership with different media entities, remember that entity already has its own market or audience. So you coming on board with them will automatically introduce you to that, and this one gives you more opportunities of revenue, more opportunities of cross promotion easily. You don't need to pay for anything, just because you're already the other side. This one also helps you with knowledge, gaining knowledge and skills from the other side. They may be having a skill or people skilled differently in their house. So as you partner, you'll be learning, and this is very good for the entity. Another thing is prioritize employee development. This is very important. Your team is critical to the success media entity. So by prioritizing employee development, you can ensure that your team has the necessary skills and knowledge to adapt to changing market conditions and drive innovations. For example, here, there may be few who come from the same media house, but most of you may be coming from just one person from a media house. So these skills that you get will improve the work that you do. So as you gain these skills, they should not end with you. You should also go and pass this to the other team members. With this, when all of you have up-to-date skills, this one make your work easy. So you can ensure that your team has the necessary skills and knowledge to adapt to changing market conditions and to drive innovations. So these two, for example, the fact-checking tools, if all your team in the house knows them, when news come in that needs fact-checking, when one person is not there, there's another one who can do it immediately, and then it will not affect the quality of the work. You will still publish news that is up to date, just because everyone is skilled. So always prioritize employee development. Your employee should not be the same the way he came in or the way she came in. Always make sure he's sharpened. If there's any other opportunity of development, always give them those chances. Then stay agile. It is essential to stay agile and adaptable to changing market conditions. By monitoring trends and responding quickly to shifts in audience behavior or technology, you can stay ahead of the curve and position your media entity for long-term success. This one is especially now that technology is the rule of the day, and things are changing every other day. AI is coming in, new apps or new news spreading platforms are coming up, the latest being threads. So as an entity, you are supposed to be following this, you're supposed to be knowing all these changes as they happen. As they do happen, you also fall by. Currently, Twitter is changing its logo from the bird to an X. So as a news entity, you're supposed to be the first to know such changes. So, and in whatever way it may affect you, you should be able to adapt very fast and move on as it goes. There's a story that is running on that iRadio published, where some prominent media person was trying to warn the journalists, especially the students. The word iRadio used was that the journalists should fear AI. But then if you read the story, it tells you that it shows, the story comes out and it tells you that people we should all know these AIs. We should know how to use them. And then because they are coming every other day. So if you're left behind, they'll take over what you are supposed to do. But then at the end of the day, still, these AIs or this new technology needs people to run them. So what you need to know is you have to have the skills of how to use this new technology so that you remain relevant in the market, but not to fear and run away from them. Yeah. Any questions so far? Because we are going to another section, which is how to fundraise. Any question on strategies of building sustainable media entities? Okay,
Hello?
yes, please.
Yeah, this is Maboriak. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you talked about, issues to do with, thing to do with the first topic regarding the journalists are not supposed to accept anything. As given the situation, the financial situation of the media houses, whereby some of the journalists are not being sustained well and motivated well, and their pay also is not that reasonable pay for them to maintain their own integrity in reporting. So, do you think these media houses, they have capacity to make sure that they pay good money for the journalists that they are assigned to do any duty to do, or even to go as far as paying themselves accommodation? As you mentioned, the journalist is supposed to pay for himself accommodation. So do journalists have that financial capacity to do so? This is something that we need to look at, because sometimes, politicians, they get advantage of that one. We know they can do that advantage. But what some people use to advise these upcoming journalists is to make sure that they use the Garang style. Dr. John Garang was telling people that when you are given anything by Arab, please let it not take away your own whatever you are doing. You see, this is sometimes what we use to advise, because we know we don't have capacity to pay a journalist a good amount of money, not to be bribed or to be given anything like incentive, like whatever for coverage. Even sometimes those politicians or any activity that is happening, they are the one even to provide a journalist some money for buying batteries, and all this, which the station sometimes lack to provide.
Yes.
And other stations that cannot even buy journalists some batteries to go and cover. So we need to look at the reality of that situation. If SIM, how do you call your organization? It's called SIMA. If SIMA is so connected with USA, let them empower journalists financially, especially the radio station, so that they have enough money to motivate journalists and all this, so that they should not be influenced with money by politicians. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, I understand our situation here. It's not only the journalists who are suffering or who are actually underpaid. It's almost every sector in the country. But as a journalist, there's this point here where I said on travel and accommodation, I said it is good practice to reimburse the provider or make an equivalent donation to charity. So for example, if things were really hard and then they provided you the service or they gave you the money, when you come back, at least you do something either to the community or any other person to show that you were assisted the other side and it was not a bribe. So you're giving back in that. Then secondly, this is why we are doing this training, and this one is strategies for building sustainable media entities. At least we need to make sure these media entities are able to stand on their own, and standing on their own means running the daily duties, and this includes even paying their staffs. I don't know whether to say enough money or to pay them what can make them do their daily business independently. Because if you don't do this, our journalists will always be compromised, not because they want, but because there's no any other option. So much as we can talk to the donors, as media houses, we should always try to diversify our sources of income and make sure we have enough resources. By the way, independent media also means even the donors like organizations, if we depend on them so much, they will tell us what to do. So as an independent media, we should also reduce on the donor money and try to stand independently, because you may report something that the donor is not happy with, then they will come to you and say this one is not right. You have to put it down. Even if it's correct, you know that it's right. But because they're the one giving you all the money, without their money, you will not do anything. So you'll be forced to put that news away or to apologize to the public, which will be very unfortunate. So let's try as media entities to diversify our sources of income and then try to maintain independence and transparency at the same time. Thank you, Mabor, for that observation. It's really a challenge, but we hope we work through it. So let's go to fundraising. What is fundraising? This is the process of soliciting and gathering voluntary contributions of money or other resources by requesting donations from individuals, businesses, charitable foundations, or government entities. Fundraising can be done for various purposes, such as supporting charitable causes, funding research projects, financing political campaigns, starting business, or supporting an individual in need. The primary aim is to gather enough funds to support a particular cause or project. Some techniques used for fundraising include direct emails, online fundraisings, events, etc. So, much as fundraising is a way of getting funds and money to run your activities, it somehow is different from getting money from a donor, because here there's some bit of independence. The person gives you the money without any strings attached. So you're free to use the money you want. But if it's a donor money, directly a donor gives you the money, you have to sign this contract and this and this. So you'll be forced to dance according to the tune of the donor. But fundraising, much as you go out to ask for the money, it has a kind of independence So what are some of the ways to raise funds, or some of the fundraising ways? We have crowdfunding journalism. This is the practice of sourcing funds from a number of people, typically via online platforms, in order to support investigative or independent journalism projects. Through crowdfunding, journalists can bypass traditional gatekeepers and directly connect with their audience to fund projects that align with their interests and concerns. Donors are able to track the progress of the funded projects and therefore can hold the journalists accountable for delivering on their promises. However, there are also concerns surrounding issues of editorial independence and conflicts of interest. So in this crowdfunding, here and you get funds from a number of people, and this one can be done through online. You create an online platform, and then people will be sending that money directly to you. So this one may help you in when you're doing an investigative story or any independent journalism project. This one, when you're doing it as an individual. So you get the money and you be doing your project or you be doing your story, but then your donors or these people that get your money from will be following you. They'll be seeing how far you've gone with the story, how good is the story. Only that this kind of funding somehow jeopardizes with independence, because these people giving you this money will have direct contact with you and they'll be following you directly on how you should be doing your project. We have philanthropists and foundations. A philanthropist is a person who actively seeks to promote the welfare of others. We may have a few philanthropists. Bill Gates is one of them. Jeff Bezos is also one of them. I think Elon Musk also does that, and many others from different parts of the world. Even in Africa, we have. So they donate money for good causes and charitable organizations. They may donate money just for one activity to an organization or an individual or a whole project. So they are motivated by a desire to improve the life of others and make a positive impact in the world. Meanwhile, foundations are typically non-profitable organizations that exist to support a specific cause or set of causes. They are usually established with a significant endowment, which is invested to generate income that can be used to fund charitable activities. Foundations may provide grants or other forms of financial support to individuals, non-profits, or other organizations that are aligned with their mission. Yeah, so if your house has a mission that is aligned with a particular foundation, for example, IREX here, in this case, it's one of its main goals is to provide free and accessible information. So came and found that 2-on-1 check or DeFi Head now is also in line with them. So they came into agreement to give this service to the population. So they give that grant so that that service is provided to the people. So this is also another way of getting funds. Then another way of getting funds is professional services or consulting. This refers to the practice of providing expert guidance to individuals or organizations in various industries. The goal of professional service consulting is to help clients improve their businesses by identifying and addressing areas of weaknesses or developing strategies for growth and implementing effective solutions. For consulting services, I think those ones in Juba, you know, many of these giving services in different areas. So as a media house, you may also develop that sector in your, or you may put that desk where you go out to train either journalists or other media houses as well. This one is paid for, and this money comes direct to you, and it will help you in running some of the other activities in your organization. As an advantage, it also gives learning ground for your staffs. So as the staff continue to train, they also gain more experiences, and it makes your organization sustainable in the long run. Then another way of getting money for your organization, for your media house, is through membership or subscription models. So a membership or subscription model is a business model where customers pay a recurring fee to access a product or service. This is often used for digital products and services such as streaming platforms, software, online courses, and e-commerce websites that offer monthly subscriptions. So these are some of the examples. So as a media house with an online presence, you can also create this, and you put either on your website, you put that subscription option where people subscribe. You can say $2 per month per a subscriber. $2 if you have 10 subscribers, that's $20. $20 per year. You know, it might appear small, but it adds on what you have. If your audience grow, you may have 100 or 1,000 subscribers. If you have 1,000 subscribers times 2, that's $2,000 per month. So how much will that be per year? That's some good money, and then it can help you run your organization or your media house, your media entity in peace. The benefits of this model is that it provides a predictable revenue stream for businesses and allows them to better forecast their financials. Yes, as I said, you can forecast. If you say you're going to charge $2 or $1 and you have 1,000, you already know how much money you have by the end of the year. So you can begin with that, and then you continue, you know, by the end of the year, how many might have come. So that one is, it gives you easy ways of forecast, of planning. Then additionally, customers enjoy the convenience and cost savings of paying a monthly fee instead of a one-time payment upfront. However, it is important for businesses to ensure that they are providing enough value to justify the recurring fee and to continuously improve their offerings to retain customers. Yeah, this one, it means you have to provide quality. People should not pay for poor quality. So it also keeps you being on check. You'll be like, if I don't give quality services, subscribers will run away. So for you to maintain your subscribers, you have to give quality, and this is a two-way, a win-win for the public who subscribes for this, and for you who gets the money and also provide a quality service. Another model is donations. The donation model is a way for organizations or individuals to raise funds by asking for voluntary contributions from others. In the nonprofit sector, Donations are used to support programs and activities that serve the organization's mission. Individual journalists or a media house can use this model to solicit funds to run their activities. I think in South Sudan, our country, most of the media entities at least have a hand from a donor. So it's self-explanatory. So what you have to know is, much as the donors are giving us the money, we should always maintain the standards and remain independent, not to be taken by conditions or factors given by the donors which jeopardize our independence. Then share power, and another one is share power and collaborate. Collaboration is a powerful tool that can lead to great accomplishments. When individuals come together and combine their strengths, skills, and knowledge, they are able to achieve much more than they could on their own. Yes, for example, this same project that you guys are benefiting from, it's not a one-man show. No, we have USAID here, we have IREX, we have AMBIS, then we have us. So this one brings a lot of knowledge and experiences, then put together, and then the final product that goes out is very standard. So what you benefit from this is quality. So as you're doing your activities, whether it's radio or it's new other news outlets, when you collaborate and you share knowledge with other people, at the end of the day, you give the public the best. One of the keys to successful collaboration is share powering. When everyone is involved in a project or endeavor, has an equal voice and say in the decision making, it can create a sense of ownership and investment in the outcome. This can lead to increased motivation, productivity, and innovation, or facilitate power sharing and collaboration. So in share powering here, when you come into collaboration, it doesn't mean there are others with more powers than the rest. It's a 50-50 if you are two, or whatever number you are, the percentage has to be equal. And even the people are getting involved directly must have equal voice. Their say has to be heard, and everyone has to be given the platform to express that. In this way, it leads to increased motivation and productivity, and even innovation. People will have chance to innovate and bring new ideas, because they know when they bring new ideas, they will be accepted and taken into consideration. So it's important to establish clear communication channels and encourage open dialogue. Yes, like here we have the WhatsApp group, and we have the Google Classroom. So we even have our phone numbers. So the communication is very open. Whoever gets a challenge is free to express himself or herself, and is helped easily. So in collaboration, those channels has to be put in place, and they have to be utilized openly or transparently. Everyone involved should feel comfortable expressing their ideas and thoughts, even if they differ from others. Then additionally, setting common goals and establishing shared values can help align everyone's efforts towards a common purpose. Yes, we know we have different ideas. So whatever idea is shared, everyone it has to be taken with a good faith. And if it's a problem, it has to be solved clearly, without saying this is so and so for him or for her. We shall not work on his because of this reason, this and that. No, it has to be solo, just like any other person in the group. Yeah, setting common goals and establishing shared values help align everyone's efforts towards a common purpose. You should have a single goal to achieve, not me setting different, another one setting different. This one will give us will not enable us achieve what we want. But when we are working towards one goal, it's very easy to achieve it. Another way to fundraise is through ebooks. Ebooks are electronic versions of books that can be read on devices such as smartphones, tablets, or e-readers. Ebooks promote media by providing another platform for authors and publishers to contribute their content. With the rise of digital technology, ebooks have become a popular way for readers to access books and other written materials. This has created new opportunities for authors and publishers to reach wider audience and promote their works. These ebooks can be accessed freely or with a cost, depending on the owner. So ebooks can easily be distributed through online retailers, which allows readers from all over the world to purchase and read the book at the same time. So ebooks can also be shared on social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and even Telegram, allowing authors and publishers to reach potential readers who may not have otherwise heard about their work. So as a publisher, you can put your content in ebook, and then anyone can get from anywhere. It's not limited to only South Sudan. As we all know, online or the internet is accessible to anyone from anywhere. This one helps to market you. So in addition, ebooks often feature multimedia elements such as images and videos, which can enhance the reading experience and make the content more engaging. Some ebooks even include interactive features such as quizzes and games, which can help to promote the content and encourage reader engagement. So here you'll be interacting with the author directly if you're a consumer, and if you are the author, you'll be interacting with your consumers directly. You can even be getting the ideas on how to improve on your work. So this is another good way of fundraising, and in the long run, it helps sustain your entity. There's another way of fundraising here. It's citizen journalism. Citizen journalism is a type of journalism where ordinary individuals are involved in the reporting, analysis, and dissemination of news and information. So rather than relying solely on professional journalists, citizen journalism allows anyone with access to the internet to share their own perspectives and experiences, to document events, and report on news as it happens. This can involve anything from posting eyewitnesses accounts of breaking news on social media platforms to creating blogs, podcasts, and videos that cover a wide range of topics. Citizen journalism has become increasingly popular in recent years as new technologies have made it easier than ever for people to participate in the creation of news and information. So here you can sit anywhere and get news that is relevant to the population or to the world, anybody in the world. Then you're easy to use either your phone or your laptop, any gadget, and then you publish. But before one publishes, one has to make sure the core values of journalism are maintained. So you don't just have to publish anything just because you have the access or you have any the ways of publishing. You have to align with we have to align with the core values of journalism, independence and biasness and relevance. Yeah, so far this is what we have. We have 15 minutes to go. We can use this for any question or any contribution, observation that we observed through the training. You're free to unmute and ask a question depending on what we have discussed or what we have not even discussed that is around this topic that you feel you should discuss right now. Oh, Dennis, sorry, it's like it was not shared, but it's coming.
Hello,
Yes, yes, please.
this is Arcangelo from Door FM.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to say thank you so much for today's session. It really helped me. And as a community radio station that is struggling with the sustainability plan on how to maintain the radio on air for longer time, fundraising part has really helped me. I have understood some of the ways we can mobilize funds to maintain the radio. So I would like to say thank you so much. You have really helped me this time to learn more about fundraising. On citizen journalism, it's a good thing that people are practicing, but the danger of citizen journalism is because sometimes they lack accountability. They cannot be traced. If once they have sent in the news, it will be hard to get through them in order to get an exact information of what is going on. But it's happening, especially on Facebook, on Twitter, and other social media platforms. Otherwise, citizen journalism is not bad. All of us are journalists, but by profession, some of us choose to do it in schools. So every citizen does the work of journalism, and even any investigation that you make involves ethics. So
Sure.
we are trying to raise a generation of journalists in schools, like in Tony. We are trying to bring together all the secondary school students, and we teach them on how to do journalism for those who are interested in becoming journalists in the future. So we have started what we call Tony Students Journalism Club, and it's going to help those who are interested in learning media and using media as their career. So thank you so much. You have really helped me understand some of the things that I have been longing for.
Yeah, you're most welcome, Angelo. I appreciate the work you're doing down there. That's we hope such trainings will improve more and more of your skills so that you give the best that you can. Thank you so much for appreciating. Yes, we have some more two hands. Rufina, then Angelina, you will come next. Rufina, you can unmute and
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you. Hello, are you
good
getting me?
afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Yes, continue.
Yeah, I just answered before. I have two questions. I want to know, can citizen journalists work together with any media house or newspaper or magazine?
I beg your pardon, your network is not so clear.
Okay, mine is a question. I want to know if citizen journalists can work with any media house or newspaper or magazine.
Okay, with it. Yes, then the second one.
Yeah, the second one, for the case of coverage, can any radio station or media house get some coverage from outside for government?
Please try to raise your voice. I'm sorry, I'm not getting you clearly. You say,
I'm like radio station, which
yes,
is for government, like
radio
community
station which
radio.
is for government.
Yeah, can it be funded? Can it be, like, because there is some other policies in the government institutions do not allow other things. I don't know. How is that? How is it possible for them to get funding?
Yeah, I think Angelina has said it. You text the second question in the chat because it's really breaking.
Okay,
Yeah. So you text, I will answer together with the first one. Angelina, you can ask your question or can unmute and tell us what you wanted to.
Thank you so much. I hope mine is clear.
Yeah, you're clear, yes?
Okay. I just wanted to ask a question on the, when you spoke about not being bribed and being independent, like mostly in the part of being independent media or journalist. Let's focus on the media entity itself. Um,
Mm.
you know, I just wanted to ask, like, as it has been expressed by so many colleagues of mine, in some circumstances, it's not that easy, like, for a journalist to become complete independent. Is the fair head now? What is the? Do you have that capacity to engage closely with the media authority in the country, so that they can be able also to help, because it is an institution that is looking after all the professional journalists and all the media institution in the country. Because if they have, actually they have the upper hand in supporting us, and also in also they have the upper hand in a way that they can also support us in the country, to avoid, many journalists are going through a lot of problems in the country. They are not even given chance, because there is this mindset, they say journalists are spies. But in the reality, we are not. We are informing people. We are not actually trying. We want to inform and let everyone to be in the same page. So in support of to avoid briberies and all this sort of, support from different, maybe politicians, parties, and all this, that they want you, they can give you a free flight, you go cover a certain, uh, a certain history or an article with their accommodation and all this. Yes, there is that perception. You might be influenced to cover only the part that they want. But due to the condition, I'm seeing even the media authority, they are letting many media entities or the organization that are working in South Sudan, they are letting us down. Now that we are having a contact and you are already in the city, do you have that link and a strong hold with the media authority to be able to show up and to support where necessary to all the independent medias that need support to avoid such briberies and perceptions? Thank you.
Well, thank you, for your question and concern. Yes, your question specifically says, do we have the capacity to engage the media authority to support you with these resources? Yeah, I think I'll say we don't have that authority, and I don't know whether media authority also funds journalists like independently. But the reason why we have such trainings or this topic particularly, this module particularly, is to make sure the media entities, they know what they should do and what they shouldn't do, and they know the dangers in doing these things. And then we go further to give these options of fundraising or how to sustain their medias independently. Because even if we are to go to the media authority and tell them, give us money, to help us with money, in case they have that money, still they will have a voice over us on how to use that money. So the independence will still be affected. So much as we go to these people, but the main aim of this training is to make sure we have independent sources, people who will have a little influence on what we do. And then we should not always have limited options. We should have more than enough. That when one wants to give us conditions, we have an option of saying, no, you can be with your source, with your funds, but for us, you are giving the facts, and we are going to do without your funds, but we are going to continue our work. Yes. Is that clear?
Yeah, it is clear, although still we will face so many challenges looking at the economic of the country. Yes, we are independent journalists and professionals. In some other, you understand correctly the economic, and everyone is hustling for a break. So it might work on others that are maybe on contracts. It might not work for the freelancers because,
Exactly.
yeah. But anyway, I understand. I truly understand the importance of remaining, contented with the ethics during the work and everything. Uh, I can agree with you, and also to urge my fellow journalists that it's not easy, and especially like now, even at some point, I'm saying we are not that valued, in the constitution and in the countries. Like we are forcing ourselves because the way they treat us, the way it's like we are being undermined, but let's not give up. It's part of our commitments, and for us to deliver the service. The fact that being journalists and service delivery is very important to the society at all. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So coming to Rufina, your second question was, how do government radios get funded? Yeah, I think the first funder or donor to government radios is the government itself, because this is a government property. It works for, it's established by the government. All the management is from the government. So even the sources and the revenues are controlled by the government. So they have the policies of how they can get their money or how they can run their money, but it's all through the management of the government. And the citizen journalists, you are like, can they work in a radio? I don't think. These are just citizen journalists, is just anybody who decides to give that news. Mainly the freelancers. Yeah, make sure you don't go before signing the attendance list. It's already shared. We have like 1 or 2 minutes. So whoever is going, make sure you sign the attendance list first before you go. Any other question or query or?
Yes, I have an addition in
Okay.
relation to the citizen journalist. I think for that person who asked, can citizen journalists work in a radio station? Of course, if they are interested, they can work under professional journalists. Like it can be on job training at the station, but of course they'll have to work under a professional journalist that will be able to train them on the basic journalism uh, skills and ethics. If they are willing, they can be trained because they have that passion, like to foster more on becoming a journalist, a professional journalist.
All right, thank you for that. We have Dida here. He wants to give some few remarks. So we are handing over to him.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, GB, for the presentation. It's really very important, and this is there is a very good component of the training is the part of sustainability. And for you to achieve this, you really need to have someone in your entity, in your organization, whose work is dedicated to building partnerships as well as going out there and looking for money to run the organization. Then another thing is like your radio stations. You should also be, I once worked for a radio station and I realized that sometimes these radio stations actually charge a lot of money for airtime. Maybe let's say 30-minute show, 1-hour show, and they charge a lot of money. So as a result, they may have very few people buying airtime over a long period of time. So instead, if radio stations or other media entities can decide to review some of the charges that they give, that they levy on their clients, you will realize that you will have a lot of people. If you reduce your rates, let's say if you charge $100 for 1 hour, and then maybe you reduce to $50 per hour, you may realize that you will have a lot of people who are coming to buy airtime over a long period of time. And as a result of that, you may realize that you will generate actually a lot of money over that period of time, instead of having to charge you a lot of money and then few people come and buy. And of course, if many people come and buy, it increases the engagement of your media entity, and as a result of that, also the reach of your media entity becomes very wide. And then for freelance journalists, there are a lot of opportunities for South Sudanese out there that go untapped. And I would actually encourage, if you are a freelance journalist, you should learn the basics of how to write proposals, because in most cases these days, as a journalist, you may get individual grants to be able to write certain sort of stories or to be able to contribute these things. And for you to be able to do this, you need to be able to pitch your ideas, usually in the form of a proposal. But many South Sudanese journalists don't want to learn that. So in your free time, you should actually learn the basics of how to write very good proposals as a freelance journalist, so that you are able to tell South Sudanese stories out there, and you are able, like some of these things are good. When you get one deal, it can push you for a long period of time. In most cases, as a South Sudanese journalist, you stand very high chances of selection. Why? Because the competition from South Sudan here is very, very low. Many South Sudanese don't get to apply for this stuff. So I would encourage you, you need to upskill yourself, get a few skills on how to write a simple grant proposal as an individual, and that is how you can push yourself as a freelance journalist. Again, another thing is to the existing media. Like even I see newspapers, they don't really market themselves properly. Like we have a lot of schools here. Actually, ideally these schools are supposed to have monthly subscriptions so that they are able to get these newspapers delivered to their schools like every morning. So I see that in most cases, some of these newspapers don't tap into these opportunities, and also with the aspect of the reduced rates. Actually, there are some brands that are actually willing to get a lot of airtime if some of this media actually reduce some of their rates. So these are some things that you can consider. One, make sure that you have somebody in your entity who is dedicated to strategic planning for your sustainability as an organization, as well as somebody who is really going to push for partnerships and fundraising and to see that money comes to your organization. And also your organization should make sure that somebody really learns and masters these basics of writing proposals, because much as you need money, you need to be able to convince people. And in this case, people need written stuff. And as you do this also, you need to be very realistic with your budgeting. There are people who draw very, very crazy budgets, which at the end of the, somebody can just get scared and may not give the money. So you need to also make sure that you draw a budget that is very realistic so that you're able to get the money, because the goal here is sustainability. How can you push the organization to go for a long run? Because you draw a big budget which gets finished in a small period of time, and then it can be very, very hard with these issues. And then you can also like explore really, really good partnerships. Like I went to a radio station in Jongole called Voice of Reconciliation, and actually they work within the antenna, I think, of some telecommunication company. So in that case, they're already getting actually free power from the antenna, and even their transmitter or those technical things of the radio is placed on the antenna of the telecommunication company, which is already a good thing. So in this case, they have already cut a lot of expenses, and I think the only thing they need to spend on is maybe they need to have a standby solar. And what the other guy mentioned also about the issue of engaging student journalists, that is very, very important, because at the end, you can even give some of these student journalists who are really, really good, you can decide, you can give them even weekend programs, or you can give them evening program after school to be able to push. And this may reduce your expenses in terms of human resource, because as a student who is building their career, you don't actually have to pay them a lot of money. You just give them some incentive as a token of appreciation. So these are really very, very good models that you can tap in. And digital media also, make sure that you are present on digital media, because that is also one aspect that people look up to these days when they are researching to know more about entities. Make sure that your entity has a simple website. It's not expensive to do a website. You can do a static website that only serves the purpose of people getting information about your entity, and also ways through which they can be able to support your entity. These things should be very, very clear, because when you are very clear about what you want, it's very easy to get actually what you want. But if you're not clear about what you want, then also people may not be sure about how they can support you. So these are very, very important things, and these are very, very important models that you can adopt. And of course, we wish you the very best as you explore some of these sustainability models, and I believe that some of them will actually work for a lot of you. Guys, we wish you the very best of your afternoon. Our time is up, and do take very good care of yourselves.
Thank you.